What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Review Garage. Today on the table we have the Olight Baton 4 EDC flashlight, and in today's video I'll be giving you my full review, overview, rundown, likes, dislikes, and of course getting this light outside in the dark and seeing what kind of light it puts out. So let's go ahead and get right into today's video, and we'll start with some basic specs on the Baton 4. So let's go ahead and zoom it in and take a look. Now the Baton 4 has a max brightness at 1300 lumens, a max distance of 170 meters, a max runtime of 30 days. It is IPX8, so it's 2 meters submersible, and it is 1.5 meters drop proof. Now it is right about 2.5 inches long and less than an inch in diameter, right about 0.83 in diameter, and it weighs right about 1.85 ounces. Now just to give a little idea of how small this Baton 4 really is, let me put it right next to a AA battery here. As you'll see, the Baton 4 is a very, very tiny EDC light. I will say, don't let the size fool you. This thing really does put out an impressive beam, but it is a very, very small light. Now the Baton 4 does have a two-way clip, works really good. Attached to a hat. That's actually kind of how I've mostly been using this light. Attached to the hat when I'm outside doing outdoor tasks. Works really good for that use. We've got a nice stainless steel button here. It controls all of our settings. This nice durable aluminum outer body. It's a really good looking light, I would say. I think we can mostly agree on the looks of this. It looks pretty good, as most Olights I think do. They have a nice look to them. They definitely know how to present a good looking light. Now one of the things I really like about the Baton 4 is the fact that you actually have 6 modes on this light. So you have a light the size of a AA battery basically, and it has 6 modes on it. So we're going to go ahead and run through those modes. We'll go through this more outside in the dark, but I'm just going to run through it real quick just so you can see the different modes on the Baton 4. So we'll zoom this back out real quick. Let's move our box out of the way. And we will start on our low setting here. Let's see, right here is our low. So that's our low. That is a 12 lumen low settings. You get 35 hours of runtime on that. And we'll jump up to medium. That is 60 lumens with 8 hours of runtime. And then we go to our high. You'll see there that is 600 lumens with 7 minutes of runtime. And after 7 minutes, it'll drop down to 300 lumens, and you get that for another about hour and a half. So that's our 3 main settings. Now, if you do a double click, you will get a turbo setting that will put out 1300 lumens for 1.5 minutes, and then that will drop down to 600 lumens and then back down to 300 lumens. But we'll go ahead and just double click that. So that's your turbo settings. That's 1300 lumens right there. Again, 1300 lumens of a light size of a AA battery. Pretty impressive to see. Nice beam there. It's a really good close range light. You'll see that more outside, but that's our turbo mode there again. Very bright, good looking beam there. And you do also have a moonlight setting, and that, if we hold this down, look at our moonlight setting there, you'll see it there. You can barely see there, but that is a moonlight setting. That is half a lumen right there. And that's the one where you get that 30-day max runtime with the half a lumen. So again, you hold that down from off to get your moonlight setting. So we have our, let's see if I can get this here real quick. So we got our low, medium, high, so that's 3. Our turbo's 4. We got our moonlight, 5. And then our final mode, of course, will be get this on, our strobe. So again, 6 modes out of this light. I think that's really probably one of my favorite features about the light is just the fact that we are going to get 6 useful modes out of this. Well, strobe, if you use a strobe, but it's nice to have. But I think you do get, again, between the moonlight, the low, medium, high, and the turbo, at minimum, 5 modes that are really cool out of this light. So I'm going to zoom this back in here. We'll go over some more of the likes here. Another like, I kind of hit on this earlier, but just the hands-free convenience. You get the two-way clip. works really good. Again, like I said, attached to the hat. Like that a lot. And then again, you also get on these, most people, if you're familiar with Olights, you probably know, but you've got a magnetic tail. This is obviously the charging cable that comes with it, but having that magnetic tail is really nice. I'd use that when I'm out in my backyard, sitting on the patio furniture. I can just kind of latch this right up to one of our chairs, and I can aim it at the yard and kind of watch the kids play, while this is just literally mounted to a chair like this. So really convenient, hands-free convenience with the Baton 4. And also, just as far as the beam goes, I'll demonstrate this more outside, but the area lighting is very good on this light. So for a light, again, this small, really good close mid-range lighting. I don't want to spend too much time on that right now, but really good area lighting, like, kind of like a mini floodlight. Really, that's kind of how I would describe the Baton 4. It's a really useful mini floodlight. And also just the UI on this thing, I mean, easy one-hand operation. Couldn't be easier. So I think that's definitely worth mentioning on this. Of course, so this is on medium right now, then you have your battery. Appears we have full charge here. That's now on high. But yeah, just one-handed, convenient, just super easy to use. Nothing confusing about it. It's dummy proof. That's why I like it. So again, the UI really nice on this. And then again, just as well as even charging it, just plop the magnet right on the back. Boom, you're good to go. You're charging. Really, really simple use out of the Baton 4. And finally, just the overall build quality of the light. I have quite a few Olights, and they're just all built really well. They come in a nice package, nice presentation. They look really nice, but they're built like little tanks. Like, this thing feels really, really nice, really durable. So definitely the build quality, as I expect from Olight, this Baton 4 does not disappoint in that regard either. Well, something else that's nice with the Baton 4 as well, now this is kind of all Olights, but you do get the nice packaging like I kind of mentioned earlier. Let me pop this out real quick. You get your nice little carry case. You get your nice little user manual in here. Obviously, like I said, you get your magnetic charger. I haven't even opened this one yet because I have so many other ones laying around. But it's nice that you get this nice packaging. I feel like the Olight packaging is kind of reminds me of Apple. Like, they really have they kind of have it down on their packaging. And it's nice that you kind of get this little carry case, your nice little box. It even kind of looks like an Apple box. So they definitely know what they're doing on the presentation side of things. So that's something else that's nice about the Baton 4 as well. Now, before we go outside and do the light test, beam test, whatever you want to call it, in the dark out there, I do want to go over just quickly some of my dislikes with the Baton 4. One thing for me, it's just to use it as an actual light in the hand, it's just a little small to me. Now, again, I'm 6'2". I think I have kind of maybe slightly bigger hands. It just feels a little too small for me to use it in that way. So that's kind of a dislike for me. And again, if you have smaller hands, that might not be as much of an issue, but it almost feels a little, I don't know if clunky is the right word in my hand, but I just don't get a good feel, good grip on it. So I think like using it in the hand just isn't great to me. I have gotten more used to it as I've been using it, but I really kind of prefer it. Like I said, just clipping this on my hat and kind of using it, as a headlamp that way. So that's how I've been mostly using this light. Just a little clunky in the hand for my hand size. Now, the biggest dislike for me on the Baton 4 is going to be just the greenish tint you get, mainly on the lower settings, mainly indoors. It doesn't really do it justice out here, but on the lower settings, it's like a greener tint. I'll try to include maybe a little shot of it inside so I can kind of show you the green tint I'm talking about, but it's a really noticeable green tint indoors, especially on the lower settings, like I said, that just kind of gets a little bit annoying. Like if you're used to seeing like a nice, good looking white, soft light, like this one just has a green tint. And you can kind of see it if I put on the mat here more. Let me compare it. I have a Ace Beam polka light right here. So just can kind of see, I don't know if this is going to show up well or not, but let me see. So yeah, it does. You can actually see kind of what I'm talking about. The Olight has, I'll separate them here so you can see quite a bit of green tint to it. Again, this is compared to the Ace Beam poker light here. Pocket light, poke light, not really sure how to pronounce it. But you can see that tint. And even we put on the wall there, that's going to be my biggest dislike with the Baton 4 right there. It's just going to be, I just don't think it's like the most pleasant looking light shade color. Like, so if you're going to be using the light indoors a lot, it's more, like I said, it's more noticeable indoors. So there's just something to keep in mind. That's going to be my biggest dislike on the Baton 4. See there, just again, get a good look at it side by side here. It's a much, so the emitter is just, I know it's kind of like a thing with the Olights, but it feels like it's more noticeable on the Baton 4 for what I've experienced. And this is the final kind of dislike. It's not a big deal. It really doesn't bother me, but I know it bothers a lot of people sometimes. So just the proprietary battery system. I mean, you're using the Olight battery system. So I don't mind it. Again, like I actually love the charging system. So, I mean, I think it might be nice if there was like, you could just buy a separate one that's not the Olight brand, or if maybe, you took, like double A's or something like that's obviously be cool, but doesn't really bother me. But worth mentioning, you do have to use the proprietary Olight battery system with the Baton 4. All right, so now that we've gone over some of the basic specs, some of my likes and my dislikes, let's go ahead and get the Baton 4 outside in the dark, and we'll see what kind of light this little guy puts out. All right, so we are out in my backyard now. As you can tell, it's nighttime. We're gonna go ahead and start our little light demonstration with the Baton 4 in the moonlight setting, so 0.5 lumens. Let's go ahead and get this on here. This is our 0.5 lumens. Let's see if we can get it to the fence. I have a fence about, you can see the fence. It's about 20 feet. So it's 0.5 lumens. You can see it actually reaches the fence. It's pretty impressive on the, that's the moonlight setting. Now we'll now go to the low setting. So this will be 12 lumens on our low setting. As you see, let's move it around here so you can look at the beam there. Nice wide beam. You can still see the hot spot there, but it's nice wide and diffused pretty evenly. You really start to see where this light kind of shines, and that's with the spill on it. Now we're gonna go ahead and jump to our medium setting. So this will be 60 lumens, and this is our medium setting. See that again, a lot of nice spill there, nice wide diffused beam. That is our medium setting. All right, now we're gonna go to our high setting. So this will be our 600 lumen setting. As you'll see, quite a lot more light there. Kind of bounce that light right back in my face. Standing this close to the fence, but you'll see really a lot nice. Look at that nice wide. You can kind of see how far out the spill goes there on each side. Really good peripherals with this light here in this high setting. All right, now we'll go ahead and try the turbo setting. This is probably going to bounce light right back in my face. Yep, very, very, very bright. That's our turbo setting. That's 1300 lumens. So again, you can run this for about a minute and a half, and it's going to drop down to 600. But you'll see that turbo. All right, we are now in a different part of the yard here. We are going to be looking out about around 45 yards to get to the corner of my yard here. We're going to go ahead and start in our low setting here. So this is our 12 lumens going out in the yard. And you can see right there where that vinyl fence ends there. It's right about 45 yards away. You can see lows barely reaching out there. You see our low setting. And kind of reach the brick wall over there, but it gets pretty tight there on low. Now that brick wall out there is probably about 20 yards away. And this is going to be the same test here on our medium setting. As you'll see, you can now see pretty clearly where the vinyl fence meets the brick wall. You see it gets there no problem. You can see the whole line of our back property here on the brick wall. No problem there. And we will go ahead and go up to high. And look at that. Now we got our whole yard lit up. You can see our shed. You can see all my dying grass. Get the corner of the vinyl fence really easily. Now just one final quick test here. Just going to show the little skyline shot here with these trees. This is our low setting here. So look up there, kind of get that tree. Go ahead and go up to medium. You can reach all the way over there. That tree over there has got to be probably about 35, 40 yards away. Sorry, getting the side of my house there too. We'll go ahead and go to high. And you can see that really lights up that tree, no problem over there. And certainly lights this one up on top of my head here. Go ahead and walk under it here, and again, this is on high. See the little aerial here. See that lights up pretty well. All right, we are back in the garage now, having just taken this Baton 4 out back and seen what all it can do. As you can see, I think it's a really impressive amount of light that comes out of such a small package. I would actually be impressed, even if this light was a little bigger. I still think it puts out a lot of light. So it being that small, it's kind of just a nice bonus. Again, I think a good way to look at this is just a really good compact mini floodlight. A lot of good usable spill, really good close to mid-range. Very impressive little package overall. Now for the million-dollar question, will the Olight Baton 4 get the Review Garage sticker of approval? For me, it is a resounding yes, as I miss it. Look at that, right on top of the light. There it is. Olight Baton 4, officially Review Garage sticker of approval. Right there. As always, if you like this review, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel a ton. And I will also have a lot more light reviews on the way. I have quite a few more Ace beam lights I'm going to be reviewing, as well as numerous other Olight models. I'll be doing a bunch of individual reviews as well as head-to-head comparison videos of these lights. So please, if you're interested in this content, like and subscribe. And as always, be on the lookout for more reviews from the Review Garage.